Hi, welcome to the last episode of the Oversubscribed Challenge podcast. This is the one, all right. And if you've been following this series from the beginning, you probably noticed something, and is that most skincare founders do not actually have a product problem. What they have is a growth problem. Yeah, their products are good, their formulations are good, their intentions are good. But despite all of that, growth remains inconsistent. And when I say remains inconsistent, it means that there are some months that sales are great and things are running smooth in the business, but there are some months that seems disappointing. Sales fluctuates, visibility fluctuates, inquiries fluctuate. And over the course of time, the founder began asking the same question again and again. The question is, Biko, what am I missing? So, over the last several episodes, we've answered that question. And we've talked about so many things. We've talked about visibility, we've talked about lead generation, we've talked about conversion, we've talked about customer retention, we've talked about the hidden revenue that most skincare brands and every other brands in every other industry, the hidden revenue that they ignore. We've discussed why many ads fail. If you don't get this, please go back to our previous episodes and watch those episodes again and again. We've looked at case studies, my client case studies. All right, right now we've generated over 24 million naira in ad revenue in the past 3 months. By July 4th, it will be the fourth month. All right, so in the past 3 months plus, we've generated over 24 million naira revenue. And again, I discussed that we follow the framework, the system that developed, which is the C.S.K.I.N system. All right, and we talked about the C.S.K.I.N system. That last episode, especially, we've identified the type of founder who is most likely to succeed with this C.S.K.I.N system. Now, in today's episode, we've arrived at the final question. And the question is, what do you do next starting from today? Because, yeah, you've gotten information, but information alone doesn't grow business. It is implementation that actually grows business. So, to answer that question, let me state what I already stated earlier on, is that you don't need more information. What you need is implementation. You see, one of the biggest misconceptions among founders is believing that maybe all the information I've gotten in the past are still not enough. And maybe the next piece of information will change everything. So they go on and on, getting more information, buy another course, they watch another video, they learn another strategy, they buy more ebooks, attend another webinar, find another guru to mentor them, all in a bit of getting more and more information. But information is really the bottleneck, especially if you have gotten some information earlier on. All right, many founders already know that they need more visibility. Many founders already know that they need more leads. Also, they don't need information about whether or not they need leads or not. All right, and they've even learned enough about how to generate leads. You see, I fell into the same trap many years ago. I was just a web designer, and I always wanted to pivot into a digital marketer. So I spent time reading books, buying courses, watching videos, doing everything, but never implemented, never positioned myself as a digital marketer because I thought maybe I wasn't qualified enough. Maybe I need another course, another course, another course. And the more courses I buy, the more I realize I already know whatever is in this course. Why did I spend money on this course? All right, another course on Facebook ads, another course on ads, another course on this. Everything they were teaching were the things I already knew. The only thing I needed to do was to go out there and implement, was to go out there and position myself as a digital marketer. And like I said, it's not just peculiar to skincare industry because your skincare industry is common in every industry. Many people keep on trying to get more information. Maybe it's imposter syndrome. Maybe it's the need to just see yourself as not qualified enough to implement. No. You shouldn't fall into that trap. All right. You already know that you need more consistent sales. So your challenge is implementing. And as a founder, especially if you have the capital, You don't need to do everything by yourself when you have employees working with you, or when you can hire agencies like us to help you deploy everything that you have just learned in the past episode. So the challenge is taking everything you've learned, turn it into action by yourself, by your employees, or by hiring us to actually implement them for you. So that is where most businesses actually get stuck, because knowledge without implementation is simply entertainment. So execution, my friend, is what would create the results. Now, talking about results, like I said earlier on, there are three parts in front of you. All right. Every founder has three choices. The first option is to do nothing, which is what you're probably doing now if you have not begun to implement. All right. The first option is to do nothing. You continue operating exactly as you are today, still learning, still reading books, still buying courses, but never implementing. So the only thing you'll be relying on are referrals from others so that your business can keep running, and you continue hoping that your sales will improve. Yeah, you might continue posting, maybe still inconsistently, and you continue guessing whether or not what you've learned already work when you've not even implemented it. All right. So you continue reacting instead of planning. If in a month, absolutely zero sales or very little sales, then you react, you want to do things. Then when things work a little bit, you recoil back to where you were before. If you choose this path, the outcome is usually predictable, and it is that nothing will change. In the next 90 days, you are still going to remain the same. You are still going to be looking for solution, the solution you could have gotten if there was an implementation, all right, if there was an execution. That is the first option. The second option is to execute everything yourself. All right, everything you learned in this episode, you and your employee, execute them yourself. Put it to work. You're surely going to get results. There's nothing wrong with this part. Even if your employees are just learning it, right, there's nothing wrong in this part at all. Many successful founders started out this way, especially if you do not have enough capital to hire agencies or to hire us to implement it for you. If you don't have enough capital, figure out how to do this. Watch the episodes again. You already have the framework. Implement, execute on each step of the framework. C.S.K.I.N framework. Community. Build the community. Segmentation. Segment. All right. Don't use general words for each segment of your audience. Let your communication be personalized to each segment of your audience. Have killer offers. Offers is a secret. No offer, no sales. All right. So have killer offers, intent funnel, so that you can convert the traffic into leads, into customers. Of course, non-stop creatives. All right, so you already have the framework. Go ahead and implement. The only con is that this is the slowest part, because it's starting from scratch. All right, and it will take a long period of time for you to come to a point where you actually master this. So that is the only con. All right, because you're going to make mistakes. That is the reality of life. When you are learning something new and you want to be a master at it, you are bound to make mistakes. You will test things out that don't actually work. You spend months learning lessons that others have already learned many years ago. But at the end of the day, you eventually make progress, even though it may take longer than necessary. So that is the second option, especially if you do not have enough capital to hire people outside to execute it for you. Now, the third option, if you have the capital, if you have the resources, the third option is what I would like you to go with. All right, it is to follow a proven system and get help implementing it. All right, you can do the third option and the second option at the same time. While you are learning how to implement it yourself with your team, you can get outside help. You can hire us to implement it for you, so you get the pros of us implementing it. That means you get faster results at the earliest possible time, and then you combine it with the pros of the second option, where you begin to learn it on your own. So you do it with the cons and you only get the pros. So this third option is what I would advise you to actually choose, because it is the fastest path. Not because someone else will magically grow your business overnight, but because in fact you're going to have clarity. You're going to have what to focus on. While somebody else is doing the hardest parts, you can focus on sales. You can focus on the easiest things in your business, the things that only you can do. that can make you scale. While we are helping you generate the leads, you can focus on closing the sales via sales calls, if that is how your sales process is. Or if the sales process is people buy online directly, you can focus on fulfilling the orders, the deliveries. So the pros of this third option is that you have clarity, you know what matters the most, you avoid many of the mistakes that would have slowed your growth if you had just chosen the second option, and you're going to move faster. So these are the three options. The question is, which one do you want to choose? All right, but in all readiness, never choose the first option where you do nothing, where you just keep learning and never executing. All right, you have the second option that you can choose, and you have the third option that you can choose. Depending on your present circumstance, choose one of them. And if you have just enough, choose the third option. But if you do not have enough capital, please go ahead, choose the second option, and ensure you execute whatever you've learned until you have mastered it and you begin to see results in your business. In the next 90 days, in the next 1 year, you are going to thank yourself that at least a year ago you started executing, even though you made a lot of mistakes. A year after, you've perfected it and your business will thank you for it. Hi, let me quickly say this. So if you are watching this and you already know that your skincare brand or any other brand that you're running right now should be doing more, but you are not sure about how to structure everything properly, well, that's exactly why we created the Digital Launchpad Accelerator. It is where we help brand owners like you turn attention into actual sales. It's where we help you build your clear growth system and scale more predictably. To get started and actually work with us, all you have to do is to go to pmi.ng/DLA, or click the link in the description of this video and watch the video on that page to learn about how to work with us. Do that after you finished this episode. All right, go ahead and continue the episode. All right, so let's go to the third point of this episode, which is what the C.S.K.I.N system actually does. And to do that, I'll quickly revisit what the C.S.K.I.N system is designed to accomplish. And this is applicable in any industry, not just the skincare industry. Whatever industry you are in, this C.S.K.I.N framework applies to you. If you deploy it, you are going to scale your brand tremendously. So the first part of the framework, which is the C, stands for community. And this cannot be overemphasized. If you want to have an oversubscribed brand, a brand that has more people wanting to buy than it can afford to sell to, then you must build community. Just look at examples of different established brands today. Is it Tesla? Is it Apple? Apple have a community of addicted fans, people who would always show up whenever they want to launch another product. Is it Tesla? The Cybertruck that Elon Musk built 3 years before he built the Cybertruck, he built a wait list of people who actually paid $100 thereabouts to book their spot for the Cybertruck that has not even been built. All right, that will be built in the next 3 years. This is the secret that many brands have utilized in a community. It can never be overemphasized. Is it Salesforce? When Salesforce came into place, they built a community of people who are addicted about SaaS, all right, about software as a system, as a new thing. All right, so you have to build a community. That is why lead generation cannot be emphasized. That is why you're creating content being visible online can never be overemphasized. A community of customers who have already bought from you, a community of prospects who are looking to buy from you. You must be the community. You must be visible. Your brand cannot be invisible, because invisible brands would always struggle to grow. Before people buy from you, they must know that you exist. They must know what to stand for. They must know what you believe, what the brand is about. So this is why you must build a community. And that is the C part of the C.S.K.I.N framework. The S part stands for segmentation. Now, in building your community, you must understand that everybody are at the different points in their customer journey. Some are already customers. Some are still prospects. Some are just window shopping, wondering whether this brand has what's they want. All right, so people are at different stage. They are not at the same stage in the customer journey, so they have different conversations. You cannot communicate with a prospect the same way you're going to communicate with someone who has already bought from you. So different communications, different offers. Some just want low ticket offer just for them to walk into the door and say, what they can benefit from your brand. Why some are already past that stage, they want you to serve them at the highest level. So you want to serve them with your highest, most valuable offer. All right. And if you are going to communicate to this different group of people, you cannot communicate the same way because they are in different segments. So you have to segment your audience into whatever group they fit in so that your communication can be personalized to them. All right. Your communication is specific to that segment of audience, specific to their problem, specific to their desire, specific to their need, specific to their biases, specific to what they actually want from you, because they are in different journey. All right, that's C and S. The K stands for killer offers. You must create offers for these different segments of audience. All right, there's offer for people who don't even know that you exist. All right, all your contents, they are also offers. All right, and there is lead magnets. You can create different lead magnets to attract people, get them to walk into the door. There's low ticket offers you can create just to get people to become paying customers, even though that may not be your core offer, but a low ticket offer to get them to actually pay you something. When they begin to pay and they enjoy the benefit, they enjoy what your offer has for them, then they can buy your core offer and they can buy the back end offers, the high ticket offers that you have. All right. So you don't want to create just average offer. Like I said, killer offers. Your offer must be irresistible and the perceived value of the offer must be very high. But that's why it's an offer. All right. You're not just selling the product, you are selling the perceived value of that product. The intrinsic value must be great, but much more than that, the perceived value to the customer must be very high. All right. So that is what would get them to actually want to buy. The market will reward perceived value. It will enjoy the intrinsic value and it would reward the perceived value, not effort. You cannot say, I spent 100 hours to create this course for you, so you have to buy it. Nobody cares what effort you put into creating the course. Nobody cares what effort you put into building the product, physical product, digital product, whatever. People care about themselves. People are selfish. They like themselves. So your offer must be about the customer, not about you, not about your efforts. It must be about them. All right. It's about their problem, their desires, their wants, about their need for status, the ego. Your offer must serve their needs. So that is that for the K in the C.S.K.I.N framework. All right, now if everything I've shared in this video is making sense to you, and right now you are realizing what is missing in your brand, then the next step is very simple. Number one, you can try to figure all of this out on your own and implement every lessons you've learned in this episode. Or number two, you can have us help you implement it properly. And that's what the Digital Launchpad Accelerator is for. Here's where we work with a limited number of brands to actually fix what is not converting in their marketing system, to help them build a proper growth system and to help them scale revenue within just 90 days. So if you are interested, there is a link below this video in the description, or on this video, there is a link where you can watch the full training and apply to work with us. Just go to pmi.ng/DLA. All right. Now let's wrap this up and finish the episode. Then the I stands for intent funnels. It's not enough to drive attention. It's not enough to get attention. It's not enough to show up, all right, and create content and be visible. But you must be able to convert the attention. To convert the attention, you need a system that will turn the attention into leads, a system that will turn leads into customer. So that is what we call funnels. So I call it intent funnel. Funnels intended to convert maybe traffic to leads. That would be called a lead generation funnel, or a funnel intended to convert cold traffic to customers direct. You can build that, all right, the direct response funnels, sales funnels, or convert leads into customers. So you want to build your sales funnels, you want to build your lead generation funnel, you want to build your webinar funnels. The funnel is a conversion system that turns people from leads into customers, that turn your audience from traffic into leads, turn your audience from traffic into customers. So you want to build that funnel. You don't want to waste your traffic. You don't want to waste all the attention you're getting. You want to convert them into sales. Everything you are doing, that is the essence, to convert traffic into sales. To do that, you need funnels. So that is the I part of the C.S.K.I.N. And then the N part stands for non-stop creatives. Yeah, you're running campaign, your meta ads campaign. I'm running campaign for different clients right now in Prime Marketing Institute. For these different campaigns, every now and then, I'm creating more and more creatives, all right, more and more image ads, more and more video ads, because you don't want to use just one image ad. Yeah, the image ad can perform very well, but there comes a time there will be an ad fatigue. When people see the ad, they'll just scroll off. It doesn't get their attention again. It used to get their attention before, but now it doesn't get attention again because they've seen it over and over, so they know what it is. They just scroll up. So that moment in time, your ad will stop performing. You start getting lower leads at higher cost per leads, lower sales at much more cost per purchase. So to prevent that, you want to keep putting up different creatives at different points in time. You want to start testing different ads over and over and over and over. So that's why I call it non-stop creatives. All right, so and it doesn't just apply to paid ads, it applies also to organic content. So you want to keep creating different image posts, different content from different angles, reaching different people at that stage of the customer journey. So it's not a one-time thing. Running your campaign is not a one-time thing. Visibility is not a one-time event. The brands that win usually are the brands that stay visible. All right, now, so that is the C.S.K.I.N framework. Together, these 5 components of the C.S.K.I.N framework, they create a growth engine for your brand. And this is a system, is a framework designed to help skincare brands and any other brand in different industry, because I don't just have skincare clients, I have clients in the herbal industry. We have clients, startups, all right? We have clients in e-commerce. So this C.S.K.I.N framework applies to different industry. It will help your brand attract attention. It will help your brand generate leads. It will help your brand convert customers and create predictable revenue. Now, if you want to deploy this C.S.K.I.N framework, the first next step I would recommend is simple. I've created a free training, all right? So watch the Skincare 3x Revenue Growth System training. And why should you watch it? Because the training is a webinar. It goes deeper than these episodes. In the training, you're going to see how the C.S.K.I.N system, how it works in practice. You're going to see the mistakes preventing many brands actually from scaling. You're going to see how visibility, conversion, and retention work together. All right. So you are going to see the systems that are required to create predictable growth, and the opportunity is currently being missed by many skincare founders. You're going to see all of this in this webinar. So think of the webinar as the bridge between just getting information and actually implementing. So if you're a brand owner, you're a founder, you watch all our episodes and you're about to watch the training and you're wondering, should I book a strategy call with Prime Marketing Institute and see if they can help me out, if they can help us actually scale our brand? Let's talk about the strategy call. All right, not everyone should actually book a call. A strategy call isn't for people that are just looking for shortcuts. It's not for people hoping someone else will do all the work while they just relax and do nothing. The strategy call that I really want any serious brand to book is not for people who are unwilling to invest in their growth. The strategy call I would like you to book right now is best for founders who have a real tested, proven product. And this strategy call is for founders who want predictable sales. It's for founders who are serious about scaling and are willing to implement. And of course, it's for founders looking for clarity on the fastest path forward. Remember, I talked about 3 parts earlier on. So if that is you, then a strategy call can be extremely valuable to your brand, because often a single conversation can identify the bottlenecks, those little spots where the problem lies, all right? The bottlenecks that have been limiting growth for several months. This strategy call will identify it, and we are going to show you the way forward and how we can help your brand actually scale. So the next question from you would be, how are we going to help brands actually scale? Depending on where your business is today, there are different ways we can help you. Some founders simply need just direction, and for them, the webinar may be enough to create momentum. They can just implement whatever they learned in the webinar and everything you've learned in the past episodes and in today's episode. But others need help implementing part of the C.S.K.I.N system. They know what to do, but they just need support in execution. All right. And there are some founders that want complete implementation. They want experts helping them create visibility, helping them generate leads, helping them improve conversions, helping them build growth systems. So the right solution would depend on your stage, wherever you are right now. But the important thing is choosing a path that moves you forward and deciding, I want to take action right now. Because if you don't take action, there is the cost of waiting and delaying. One of the most expensive mistakes founders make is believing that waiting has no cost. The more you delay, opportunities are missed, customers are lost, competitors gain ground, and your momentum slows down. So the next 90 days would pass whether you act or whether you do not act. The question is, what will be different when those 90 days arrive? Will your visibility have improved? Will your leads have increased? Will your sales become more predictable and will your business be stronger? Or will you still be dealing with the same frustrations after 90 days? In 90 days from now, will you still be dealing with the same bottlenecks, with the same limitations? Growth rarely happens by accident. It usually happens when someone decides to take action. So what is your next step right now? If you made it this far, this is what I recommend. Step 1, watch the 6K 3X revenue growth training that I've said earlier on. You click the link in the description below this video and watch the training right away. This step 2, identify the biggest bottlenecks in your business. All right, you need to identify it. And step 3, if you're serious about scaling, then on that same page where you're watching the training, the C.S.K.I.N 3 revenue growth system, you can book a strategy call. And step 4 is implement what you learn, because implementation will change your business. It's not the information that will change your business. It's not the intention that will change your business. It's not potential that will change your business. It is implementation. So that is the end of today's episode. Now, throughout this series, we've discussed the system, discussed the strategies, discussed the principles that will help your brand grow. But none of those things matter if they just remain in the realm of ideas or information. Like I've said repeatedly, growth begins when idea becomes action. So the founders who achieve extraordinary results aren't always the smartest. In fact, in many cases, they are the people who don't come off as book smart. They are not always the most talented either. All right. And they are not always the most experienced, but they are the people who ruthlessly take action. So if you're serious about scaling your skincare brand, don't stop here. Watch the training, then take the next step as I've outlined. And let's see what's possible. And the right founder implement the right system consistently. So I'm going to see you inside the webinar. Click the link in the description below and let's see in the webinar.